Texas baseball starts their season in just about the worst way possible. Men's basketball faces a tough three-game stretch to close out the regular season, and softball looks promising early coming out of the gates following a national championship appearance. All this and more coming up on College Crossfire.
What are those? He's coming back for that 2021 MVP. He's better than Josh Allen. He's better than Baker Mayfield. He's not better than Mahomes. I can't say that.
What? You really think you get kicked?
You know, a bag of money or whatever, some food inside them. No, that is a great answer. How dare you boo this man?
Welcome into College Crossfire, the best collegiate sports debate show on the planet. I'm your host, Tommy Yarrish. We've got a good one lined up for you as always. Don't boo me. Let's meet our contestants. Yeah. All right, okay. Everybody shows up now for the first time ever, and all of a sudden, I get, no, hey, that's too far. We are not trading Justin Fields. What a terrible way to start tonight. I'm so sorry. On first base, he's coming back after his first appearance and first win on College Crossfire. It's Michael Alvarez. Welcome back, Michael. How are you feeling, champ?
I'm feeling good. Feeling great. Great to be out here with a good group of guys. Look to defend my title. Have a good time doing it.
Wow, so much sportsmanship, Shane. If only our crowd would show the same level of sportsmanship. And on second base, thank you. On second base, I continue to try to convince him to give the Chicago Bears the 12th pick in the draft, but he won't listen. It's Horn Sports' finest, Ryan Swantkowski. Thanks for being here, Ryan. How are you?
Tommy, doing great. Always great to be back here. Last time I was here, lost championship. That's okay. We're up for revenge, so great to be back.
On the revenge tour. Horn Sports' finest. If you watch a press conference whatsoever, you will see Ryan attending there and asking good questions as well.
Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome. And last but certainly not least, on third base, he's making his College Crossfire debut this evening. Please welcome Ronan Benford. Ronan, welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm happy to be on. Long-time fan, first-time participant. Let's get this going.
There you go. We like that. We like that. We like that. We like that. We like that.
Yeah, everybody likes that, right? Very excited to have you on tonight. Thank you to all three of you for joining us. Let's go ahead and get started. After another trip to Omaha last year, Texas baseball started out the year in underwhelming fashion. They dropped their first three games to Arkansas, Missouri, and Vanderbilt before finally getting a win last night against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You take that as you will as to whether or not that's impressive. That in mind, what's been the catalyst for this poor start, and how do the Horns turn it around? Michael, we'll start with you.
Well, I think if you watch any of the games, it should pop out to you as their abysmal field play. I mean, it's against the Vanderbilt, I think they had, 8 unearned runs in one inning. It was, I've never seen anything like it, really. I mean, it made the pitcher look bad. And, I mean, it's just, that's never going to be good for you. They have a lackluster bullpen, and their hitting's decent, but it's not where I think it needs to be if they want to compete with anything at all. But then again, they started 0-3 last year, and they made another trip to Omaha. So I think if they could just figure out the field play, they can turn around, have a good season.
Well, certainly you're going to struggle a little bit hitting the ball when Ivan Melendez is not on the team anymore, so you're going to miss that guy cranking some home runs over at the dish this year. Ryan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd have to say, Tommy, the lack of identity on this team. This team is completely different from last year, basically from top to bottom, offensively especially. Dylan Campbell, last year, outfielder, really batted around 7th or 8th, now batting 2nd or 3rd in the lineup, and is now, as their head coach Pierce said, is now the leader of the offense. Like, he's great, returning junior, but I don't know if he can lead this offense quite yet. Only 3 starters returned from last year, Daly, Kennedy, and him himself. Just a lot of weight on the shoulders, a lot of turmoil. So I don't know if they really have that batting order figured out yet with a lot of young guys. So I think they got to figure themselves out first, and I think once they do that, they'll become a much better team.
Yeah, youth definitely part of the experience, but David Pierce, really good head coach. He's a guy who can turn that around quickly. We'll see if he continues the winning, now that they finally got one in their back pocket. Ronan, your thoughts?
I think this is a team that needs to learn how to deal with pressure. In all 3 of their losses, they've given up at least 3 runs in a single inning, and of course to the aforementioned Vanderbilt game, 8-1. They need to learn how to stop just being a sieve whenever they lose a little bit so they can stop losing a lot.
Yeah, that's a great point. And honestly, anytime you give up 8 runs in an inning, I don't like your chances whatsoever. I think I saw Baylor the other day gave up, 15 in an inning? And yeah, that doesn't end well most of the time. So great answers across the board. Ryan, I'm going to give you the 3 here. I agree with you. Identity is what this team needs. They had so much of it last year with guys like Ivan Melendez. Not the case this year, especially when you've got a guy batting 8th, bumping up and now becoming the leader of the offense. So you get the 3 here. Ronan, you get the 2. Michael, you get the 1 to start us off. Next up, Rodney Terry and his men's basketball team got their revenge on Iowa State last night with a blowout victory at the Moody Center. The Longhorns have lost just 1 game on their home floor. How's that for a home court advantage in the first season at the Moody Center? Now the 3 toughest games of the season remain for the Longhorns. They play Baylor, TCU, and Kansas, 2 of which are at home at the Moody Center. What'll it take for Texas to break the tie at the top of the Big 12 against Kansas and win the conference? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, opposite of UT baseball, I'm going to say the Hornets have to stay true to their identity, which they've established all year with these crazy tough Big 12 opponents. But I think the key is actually Tyrese Hunter, and that's a name that's been tossed around a lot in the past few weeks here. But against Iowa State last night, and tonight's Wednesday, so Tuesday night, finally had 15 points, his second game with more than 10 points in his last 8. That's it. And he's second on the team in minutes per game, and when you're second on the team in minutes per game and you're finally scoring at an elite level, this team looks to be almost unstoppable. So it's just stay true to your identity, stay healthy, but I think Tyrese Hunter will be the guy that can really pull this team even more forward than they already are.
I completely agree with you, and posted a video for Horns 24/7. Go ahead and follow the Horns 24/7 YouTube channel, by the way, saying exactly the exact same thing. Tyrese Hunter's a guy who, if you can get going, makes things a lot easier for the offense, as there's no secret the identity of that offense relies in the backcourt. We've seen that with Marcus Carr and Serge Jabari Rice. Tyrese Hunter gets it going in a revenge game last night. You see what happened. It's a blowout victory. We'll see if that can continue the rest of the season. Ronan?
I think for them to continue to win, they need to replicate what they did last night, which is bring energy in the first half. They massively outscored Iowa State early on. There was a point where they went on a 16-0 run, and they were even up by 20 in the first half. They had something like 11-4 turnovers. As long as they bring that energy and they can interact with either the fans at the Moody Center whenever they're hyping them up, or frankly interact with the fans at away games where they're more antagonistic, I think that the team really feeds off that energy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that fans at any sporting venue, in a positive way, in some point, whether you're home or away, can definitely feed into your ego, feed into your mentality, and especially away games. If you can get under their skin and make them quiet, I think that pushes you to just go even harder. Michael?
The key to this team, I think, is when you get players like Tyrese Hunter going. I mean, that's like he said, if you get him a plus 10 points, you get him shots, he's making shots, the team's hard to beat. And I also had to throw in Ontario Morris. I mean, that's a 5-star freshman who can get a bucket when he wants to, when he needs to, and when he gets going too. I think he hit 3 last was it 3? Maybe 2 or 3. He had about 10, 12 points. And obviously it showed how good the team was whenever you get guys like that going. I mean, they shot 40% from 3. They played solid defense down the stretch in the first half. Second half, there were some stretches where they didn't play as well, but they had given themselves a first half lead, which I don't think they've done all season, and I think that helped a lot too.
Yeah, first half lead is definitely something that Rodney Terry struggled with in Big 12 play, but another thing I mentioned in that Horse 24/7 video, by the way, was the younger guys on this team stepping up. Ontario Morris being one of them, Dylan Mitchell being the other. Morris had a great game last night. He's continued to show flashes this year of his ability, but just hasn't been able to find the shot all the time. We'll see if his confidence goes up off of that. Great answers across the board once again. Ryan, you're going to get the 3 here again, once again, for Tyrese Hunter. Just love that answer. Completely agree with you that he is the catalyst that makes this offense go. Michael, you get the 2 here. Ronan, you get the 1. So a long ways to go. Last question of our first set. Following a World Series run, Texas softball has done the opposite of their male counterparts and have put up an 8-1-1 record to start the year. And while things certainly don't get easier, Oklahoma losing to Baylor, shockingly, certainly helps their case moving into the rest of the beginning of the season. Do you think that the Longhorns have a legitimate chance to finally pull a Big 12 title away from Patty Gasso, or is it still Oklahoma's for the taking? Ronan, you start us off.
I still favor Oklahoma. They're the, I think, 2-time reigning defending champions, and sometimes whenever you get these reigning champions that have won the title multiple times in a row, they can get somewhat complacent in games that they don't find important, and I think that's what happened with the Baylor game. Ultimately, I think that once it comes down the stretch, they'll pull themselves into form, and it's theirs to lose.
Completely agree with you. When you have a coach like Patty Gasso, she's not going to let that slide, and that team is way too talented to be able to take that loss and continue losing. So we'll see how she turns that ship around. Michael?
Right now, Texas bats are hot. They have 7 home runs in the season. I think 6 out of 10 games they've scored double digits. Obviously, they're putting the numbers up on offense. But even with Oklahoma losing, when you think of softball, you think of Oklahoma. They're the powerhouse. They're like the Alabama football, the UConn of women's basketball. So, I mean, until I see more out of Oklahoma struggling, even though Texas may be hot, I still got to give the hat to Oklahoma because, I mean, they're the powerhouse, like I said earlier.
Can't blame you, yeah. When we have players like Jocelyn Allo come through there and hit a home run basically every single at-bat, which is just insane to watch. Certainly a very tough team to beat. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with my competitors here. I think it's still OU's to lose. Texas wins so far this year. While they are winning, have not been super impressive. Number 23 Missouri was a fine win. We tied against, I forget who, but top 10 opponent. Not great track record of wins. And OU, first time in the past 2 years, they haven't been ranked number 1 in the entire country, which is just unbelievable. They're not only dominant in the world of softball, they're dominant in the world of sports and collegiate sports altogether. I still think it's OU's to take, OU's to lose. And so, yeah.
All right. Great. Once again, great answers across the board, and we'll see what Patty Gaslow's program does. Still a lot to look forward to for the Sooners. Definitely a stacked team, top to bottom, another national championship contender, no doubt about it. So we're 3 questions into this one, and it's about as close as it can be. Out in front early with 7 points is Ryan. Right behind him with 6 is Ronan, and Michael closes us out in the top 3 with 5. So long ways to go. Next set of questions coming up after this on College Crossfire.
True.
Welcome back into College Crossfire. Quick score update if you're just joining us. Ryan out in front with 7 points. Behind him is Ronan with 6. And last but not least is Michael with 5. Let's go ahead and kick off our second block now with this. Free agency season is looming on the NFL. That means franchise tags, draft day trades, and record-breaking contracts are on the way. So, who do you think the biggest player on the market is, and where do you see them landing? I'm going to preface with this. If anybody says anything about trading Justin Fields, you are automatically ejected from College Crossfire and banned for life. Audience is included as well, so you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Get out of here. All right, go ahead and take it away, Ronan. You get the first one here.
I'm going to go with the obvious answer, at least what I think is the obvious answer. Lamar Jackson, the former MVP. He's still 26 years old. He's in his prime. I think that he significantly increases the likelihood of a championship on any team that he's a part of. He's a passing threat. He's a run threat. The only question is, will he get the amount of years and the amount of money that he wants? I still think that the Ravens are probably going to get him, but again, I don't think that they're going to give him that 5-year max or 5-year guarantee that he was wanting.
Well, you just made executive producer Jordan Galehood very happy back in the studio with that response.
Smiling.
Now, hopefully, in Jordan's case, Lamar Jackson shares your sentiments. If not, we might have to deal with very sad Jordan Galehood here in the coming weeks. Michael?
I'm going to have to go with King, off-season dramatic King, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I think it's time for him. I think it's time for him to get out of Green Bay and really go somewhere where, I mean, he's old. He's like LeBron. He's still putting up great numbers even at this old age, but I still think he needs more talent around him. And, I mean, the team I think he should go to and just makes the most sense, he needs to team back up with Devontae. So he got Devontae. He has Josh Jacobs, they give him his money. I mean, it's what you need out of it, really. You got to see the right team. You know, if you feed them the right numbers, the right guys, you give them the money, they can really make something happen. And I think that these guys right here, they land Aaron Rodgers, they can make something shake for real.
No way.
For those who can't see, this is a Josh Jacobs Raiders jersey. I didn't know you were a Raiders fan.
Yeah, how about them Raiders?
That doesn't sound very
Yeah, how about
sounds right.
Exactly. How about him is the question. That is the question.
Very good.
It's the right way to say it.
Let me say this. As long as Aaron Rodgers gets out of the NFC North and never comes back, I could care less where he goes. So,
Come to
that
AFC,
being
Aaron.
said, great fit in Las Vegas, LV. It's close enough. But thank you for letting us know now your fandom so that when you come back, we can bully you if they lose.
That's fine.
If it makes you feel better, I've gone through it too. And speaking of someone who's get bullied for losing, man, Ryan, you're Texans.
Hey, come on now, come on. D'Amico Ryan, that's what I'm talking about. That's huge.
Right,
It's huge for the brand.
Continue and answer the actual question that we have.
Go sidetrack. My answer actually has to do with the guy on his chest. My answer is Josh Jacobs. You can say Lamar Jackson. I expect him to go back, so I'm not even going to mention him. You can say Saquon Barkley. I think he's going to go back 100%. I'm not going to mention him. And Jacobs is being overshadowed by Barkley. I think Jacobs provides a lot of value that not a lot of people, especially fans of the NFL, really see. Led the NFL in rushing touchdowns, or had 12 rushing touchdowns, led the NFL in rushing yards. In his prime at 25 years old. Best season of his life in the NFL. Is now a free agent. I don't think the Raiders are going to pay him because the Raiders are a trash shoot right now. I think he's going to find a home, and I think he's going to make that team a lot better. So I think he provides a lot of value that people don't even really see. So I think that's a big offseason addition.
Raiders going to pay him.
Did you want to counter that? You had a bemused look on your face as you heard that. I'll give you the chance.
The Raiders, they make very questionable calls. Getting rid of Derek Carr was the right thing to do. They finally did something right, but they're going to pay the man. They're going to pay the man.
Camera, look at me. Josh Jacobs, you are a Chicago Bear. All right, three great answers across the board. Ronan, you get the 3 for you. I think Lamar Jackson's the clear-cut choice. Ryan, I like Josh Jacobs at 2 because he's a Bear. And Michael, a great answer as well. Thank you for revealing your wonderful, soon-to-be X-Raider Josh Jacobs jersey. Second question and final question in this block. Only a few games remain for all teams before conference tournaments start, which means it's time to start sorting them into their final seeds for the big dance in March. Who do you think earns a #1 seed at the start of March Madness? Ryan, start us off.
All right, I'll give you the easy 3 off the bat. U of H is a lock. Everybody knows that. Kansas should basically be a lock regardless of really what happens in the Big 12 tournament. I think Alabama should be a lock as well. And no, I'm not going with the 4th-ranked team in the country right now. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with the 5th-ranked team in the country. I'm going to say Purdue. They have looked pretty rough recently. I understand that. But the Big 10 especially has been weak. Nobody's in the top 15 besides Purdue. They should win that Big 10 easy. And not that I absolutely love Purdue, but if they win the Big 10 championship, I think there's no way they're not #1. Zach Edey is one of the best centers in the league. It's pretty simple. They got some really fast guards that can do some damage. So I think Purdue ends up getting that #1 spot.
Yeah, Zach Edey's been a double-double machine all year long. He's putting up like 30 and 20 every other night. I just
ridiculous.
glance at the TV and see him putting up more insane numbers. Obviously, very tough to stop. We'll see if the Boilermakers can keep it going, although you mentioned they have dropped a couple embarrassing losses here in the past couple of weeks. So we'll see where they end up. Solid 4. Ronan, continue.
I'm going to have to piggyback off that because those are basically mine. It's Kansas, Alabama, and Purdue. Purdue's been in good form this season, and I think that they can actually make kind of a Cinderella run's a bit of an exaggeration.
I don't know if a number 1 seed can make
Yeah,
it.
not a Cinderella run, but I don't think they'd be as expected to go as far as those other three. Those other three would be much more favorites than Purdue.
I certainly wouldn't expect him to go that far, especially with losing a guy like Jaden Ivey, who was just so incredible to watch last year when he torched Texas and then continued to go on the rest of the tournament playing well. So same 4 for those two, Michael. Are you sticking with the train or are you going your own way?
I hate to make this a boring round, but I got to stick with the train. Houston, the backcourt, that's one of the best backcourts in the nation. I mean, their strength of schedule is kind of scary come March, but that's a team that's just shown they can hoop all year long. I also got to give it to Purdue. I mean, if you just feed Zach Edey the ball, I mean, he's like 7'6". He's ginormous. Just give him the ball. Just let him lay the ball in. Just give him some space. He'll make it happen. They do also have fast guards, like they mentioned, and that's a good team. Alabama is the best team in the SEC, which is a decent basketball conference. They're not football, but it's a decent basketball conference. They've shown to be a top of that. And then come the 4th spot, I got to go Kansas, but hear me out here. I think if Texas can win the Big 12 and show that they're the best team in the Big 12, I think they go over Kansas. That's just my hot take there.
I think that's a completely reasonable take. The only thing is, will that actually happen? Knowing Texas athletics history, probably not. But alas. College Crossfire first here. Since you all had the same answers, you're all getting the same number of points. Everybody gets 2 points. I feel like that's pretty fair, right? I don't care what you think. So we're through 2 sets of questions. At the top of the leaderboard, it's a tie between Ryan and Ronan for 11 points. And then behind them, Michael's sitting with 8. Don't worry, though. Still a lot of time left to go. Our next round is the best round. Rapid Fire is coming up after this on College Crossfire. And welcome back to College Crossfire. It's time for the last 3 questions of the night. You know what that means. It's the rapid fire round where the points are double, so it's anyone's game. If you're new to the show, rapid fire is our 3rd and final segment where our contestants will have to answer 3 questions just like they have in the last 2 rounds, but this time they have no idea what I'll be asking. Everything is off the dome. They say defense wins championships, but that's not true. Rapid fire wins championships. Let's find out who tonight's champion will be. Here we go. The XFL opened this past week with several thrilling, there you go, thanks The Rock, thrilling comebacks to start the season off with a bang, and the league includes certain rules that can change the outcome of games, such as going for a 4th and 15 instead of attempting an onside kick. Fellas, if you were commissioner, what rule would you want to see added to create more mayhem? Because that's all we want, right? More chaos? Anybody can answer to start.
The one thing I wouldn't want to do is give Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes a 4th and 15 to get the ball back. That's the one thing I would not do. What I do like is the 3-point conversion. I think that could extend something. That could extend a game when you need it. I guess I'd probably just have to go with that.
Okay, so 3-point conversion.
So we're talking about rules we can add to the NFL from the XFL?
No, add to the XFL. So
Okay.
It's already
Okay.
I read that whole
Okay.
question. I heard that question.
We can come back to you if you want.
I was actually talking to my roommates about this today because we're talking about the rule changes and everything, which is the college rule changes. I don't know if you've seen those. Whack. Just
Absolutely
ridiculous. It's not even football.
ridiculous.
Anyways, we were talking about no flags on special teams whatsoever. That includes field goals, kickoffs, anything. No flags at all.
So
you
it's
can do
a
it.
free-for-all?
It's basically a free-for-all.
Not like offside.
That's not crazy.
Okay, besides like offsides, but like, I mean, we're talking pull the face mask? Sure, I don't care.
Okay, well,
Horse
that's
collar?
just
I don't care.
dangerous.
I mean, you said mayhem, bro. You said mayhem.
Yeah, mayhem, not murder.
Okay, that's not murder. What else do you expect me to say? Come on, that'd be fun to watch. A little bit.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yes, it would.
Some people are getting hurt left
Come
and
on,
right.
come on. But you're gonna. I mean, in order for them to get hurt like that, they have to allow themselves to.
Still all injuries.
Are you kidding? I'm not asking for injuries. You're asking for mayhem,
Yes,
man.
you are.
I'm not asking for
Mayhem,
injuries.
You can't have 2 guys like choke slamming another.
Come on, hey, but once the ball's dead, it's dead. They gotta get off each
I
other.
mean, The Rock does own it. Why not? Why don't we bust
Come,
this?
dude, look at this. He's backing me up now.
Yeah, no.
Come on.
You know, hey, I'm gonna add this. You know, with
I don't-
Rock's
okay, go ahead,
WWE
yes.
repertoire. Okay. Winner, or anytime you get to do a touchdown celebration, you just get to bust out a WWE move on your opponent. You get to hit your opponent
That's
with a
fire.
steel chair.
See, that's
okay. You get to hit him with a
see,
table.
that's a little
drive
bit
him
better.
through a table.
That's a
okay.
little bit better. If somebody scored a touchdown and then pile drive their opponent through a table, I would watch that every single second of
Imagine
every
if you
single
bring
day.
it to the NFL. Bill's Mafia already puts their opponent
Oh, if
through a
I
table.
watched Justin Fields like choke slam Aaron Rodgers through a table, my life would be made. I could play that in my head all day. Michael, we'll come back to you.
I'm gonna get away from the violent side of this. I think we should take violence more. I don't think we should add more violence in an already violent sport. I would say, like you said, if defense wins championships, unless you're on Crossfire, I think if you get an interception or you force a turnover, you should get points for it. Like maybe add like a 2-point conversion, maybe kick like a field, like 3 points, like the field goal. I have no idea. I mean, I just think if a defense can get a stop, I think they should get points to it.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's a 7-on-7 football idea right there. So, good idea there. Ronan, you're going to get the 6 here. I love the WWE idea. Michael, you get the 4. Just a shame.
It's mayhem, man. I'm not asking for injuries. It's mayhem. You asked for
2
moving.
points. So sad.
Whatever.
I believed in you, man.
Oh, come on. We got 2 left.
I bet you don't believe in concussions.
Mac McClung.
I do.
Moving on, Mac McClung came out of nowhere last week and proceeded to win the NBA dunk contest, bless you, during All-Star Weekend. For the competition next season, who are 4 players that you would want to see throw down some dunks?
First of all, let's bring Mac McClung back. I've loved Mac McClung since I've watched his Ball Is Life mixtapes in high school.
That was quite a Ball Is Life mixtape.
I think an obvious choice here would be to throw John Morant in there. That man floats in the air. I think he can do some pretty impressive things with the ball. Zion. Give me Zion. I mean, if he can be healthy throughout the season, then he'll probably be able to play. But give me Zion because, I mean, no matter how big he is, the athleticism is just ridiculous. And then, even though he's been against it his entire career, throw LeBron in there. I know he's 38, but he can still get up there. I want to see him at least play in one dunk contest, and those are the 4 I take.
Yeah, you might have to give LeBron a wheelchair if he's going to participate in that for afterwards. I don't know if he has that much bounce left, no matter how good of a superstar athlete he is. When you get up there in age, it drains out of you a little bit, but LeBron obviously different. Fellas? 2 answers left.
You want to go?
Sure, I'll go. I'll go with Rockets young star Jalen Green. Man's got crazy hops, and the hype's around him. The hype's around him. Okay. Next two are huge though. Okay. Rematch that has to happen. That will happen one day. Has to be Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon. That's got to come back. Those two have to come back no matter what. And then I want a celeb in there. I want the goat of dunks. Not a celeb, an old player. I want Vince Carter to come back too.
Oh, okay.
Do whatever he can.
Carter's like 40-something.
Dude, I don't care how old is it. You know he can still dunk. 100%.
I don't know if he can even dunk with one hand anymore.
Oh, he 100% can dunk with one hand.
Why don't we just bring back
Now,
Dr.
if
J?
we had,
Oh, there we go. That's a great idea.
If we had a time machine and we brought Vince Carter back,
Emphasis here is LaVine and Gordon have to rematch again. Gotta happen.
That
That's
definitely
valid.
needs to happen once again. And I'm so sorry, Aaron Gordon. You deserve to win that one.
Yeah, you did.
Ronan,
We need
close
some
up.
diversity. First of all, we need the defending champion to fight for his title. McClung has to be back. He has to show if he's still the best dunker. Then we need Zion, who can't be stopped at the rim. You know, he's a big guy, but I also think that big guys are fun to watch in the dunk contest. They bring something different. You got, like, whenever you have reality TV shows, they always do a season of the former stars that didn't win. And that's why you got to bring back either Zach LaVine or Aaron Gordon. I say a mini tournament to get into the thing. That way you can guarantee a face-off there. And then I say we have the most audacious dunker in the NBA today, Anthony Edwards. Okay, it's between Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards for that title, but I'd rather see Ant. Ja clearly is scared of Matt McClung. He will never be in the dunk contest because he is scared of that man and scared of losing. Anthony Edwards would bring it to him. Those are my choices.
I can't think that Mac McClung is the one to strike fear into John Morant's nerves.
Why didn't he do it this season? Why didn't he do it this season?
He needs a
You
mill.
heard of McClung.
He said he needs a
That's
mill.
on
Him.
you, my friend. Great answers across the board once again, solely because of bringing back Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. Ryan, you get the 6 points here. Michael, you'll get the 4. Ronan, you get the 2. That sets up our final question, which will decide who wins this one. So, fellas, get ready. Texas Athletics Director Chris Del Conte said in a town hall earlier this week that as long as he was in charge, there would be no alternate uniforms for Texas football. Now, let's say you're forced to design an alternate. Walk us through what your uniform would look like for the football team. We have seen so many Photoshop renditions of this on Twitter, and I don't think I have yet to see one good one. They've all been terrible, so designers, please
Oh my.
come with a better idea. Oh, our contestants are stumped.
I'm gonna say let's go like a color rush. Let's say all burnt orange top, orange pants, orange socks, orange everything, and then a white helmet. And then on the white helmet, you bring back the old logo, the little Screamin' Bevo. I've always loved that logo. I have like 2 hats that have it on there. I think that wouldn't be too crazy. Maybe a black helmet, but that might also be ugly. So
That's
I'd probably stick with the white helmet and then the color rush, burnt orange color rush.
I mess with that idea. I think that's a great idea. Certainly better than the sunset uniforms that I saw earlier this week, where it was like red, orange, yellow,
red.
purple.
How did we ever put
I know, it
purple?
just looked like, it just looked like a
We're not
rainbow.
TCU over here,
It looked
dog.
like a
Come on.
rainbow
What are the
vomiting
Jazz? Yeah, what are we, the
on
Jazz?
Quinn
This is
Ewers'
terrible.
jersey,
Yeah.
who was the unfortunate player who had to get edited into that. 2 answers left.
I'm gonna go. Just stick with me here, okay? It's simple. But the whiteouts we have are that UT has is one of the best jersey combinations in the entire world by far. But what I would do differently, first off, I think the Longhorns, as fans should get involved, should have a whiteout game similar to what Penn State does, just a little different, but whiteout game would be electric, I feel like, in DKR. I think they should have matching cleats that have horns on them, one horn on each cleat. I think it'd be very cool. And then I think the face mask should be orange, though. Everything's white, face mask is burnt orange, and then instead of the Screaming Bevo, you have a legitimate Longhorn as the logo on the helmet. That's what I think would be really cool.
So when you say horns on the cleats, do you mean horns protruding from the cleats?
I do. So no, not protrude, not like legitimate horns in the cleats. No, like horns on the cleat, like a design.
I
No,
just have to make sure.
not spikes.
Because
No,
Based
no,
off of
no.
your first answer in the XFL, I don't know if
come on,
Longhorn
bro.
players going and chipping their
just like
opponents with their ankles.
So you're standing like this, it looks like you got some Longhorns. That's pretty. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I definitely see that
Facebook,
idea.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
that you're not trying to take out the opposing team's
Yeah,
ankles.
no.
Ronan, close
All right.
up.
I'm thinking all black with the burnt orange highlights, kind of stripes down the side, defining the shoulder pads. But where it comes in is the helmet. I don't know exactly NCAA helmet rules, but I'm going to scrap the 2 logos on each side. There's a front-facing horns right here,
That's
so
kinda
it
tough.
kind of looks like the actual logo, but facing the opponents instead of just on the broadcast for both sides. That way, it's like a charging longhorn instead of just 2 longhorn silhouette heads on each side.
That's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah.
Like Michigan, like Michigan's like little. Like,
Well, someone does.
It's like the Rams. It's like,
Oh, like the Rams.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
Crazy hater over here.
No hate. Respect.
Great answers all around. And fellas, this is the closest show we've ever had because the first place winner was 1 point away from both of the other contestants. That's how close it is. So we're going to start off with fantastic show and give it up for Ronan, please. Phenomenal debut. But our winner in tonight's College Crossfire is none other than Mr. Horn Sports himself, Ryan Swantkowski, comes back after coming up short, and he wins it tonight. Ryan, Adam, do we have time for FaceTime? Yes, we do.
Oh,
Ryan,
little
take it away.
FaceTime. Thank you, Tommy, for that great shout out. Great to be back. Great competitors tonight. Wonderful show. Super relaxed, super fun. Can't wait to see what I do next week. It's going to be a good time. So tune in next week.
Where's Justin Fields going?
Oh, Justin Fields? Ooh.
Stay in Chicago.
Green Bay.
Anyways, Green Bay. And suddenly, in a shocking change of events, Ronan and Michael are co-winners of College Crossfire. Congratulations, fellas. You are never coming back on.
Oh, God.
In all seriousness, now sadly that he had to ruin his win, congratulations to Ryan. Thank you so much, Michael and Ronan, for joining us. And once again, another round of applause for Ronan. Phenomenal debut tonight. Michael, this is only his second show. He's a true pro as well. So, yes, please. Absolutely. That's going to do it for us here in the TSTV studios. Before you go, be sure to remember to come back Friday mornings for the Wanna Know Sports Show and Monday nights for College Press Box. Thank you to our live studio audience for coming out and being great as usual. Tonight, for our contestants, everyone in Master Control, our executive producer, Jordan Galehood, and all the other great folks at TSTV, my name's Tommy Yarrish saying good night and see you next time.